Cursor 2.0 just dropped in. The internet is on fire with it and its new model called Composer. It's super fast. It's built specifically for coding. And in this video, we're going to put it to the test, building a project from scratch using only agents. And I think to begin with, that is the big difference with Cursor 2.0 versus something like Claude Code or even Codex is it's agent first and kind of agent only. You're not going to see a lot of files. You're not going to be writing a lot of code. You're going to be talking and controlling agents, which, if you ask me, is the future of software development, is you as a developer or an architect managing agents and pointing them in the right direction and giving them PRDs and critiques and things like that. So in this video, we're going to build a project from scratch using Cursor 2.0 and agents. Hey, I'm Craig Hewitt. Welcome back to 100 Days of AI. Let's do this. Okay, so we're building a community platform. I've heard on the comments here, hey, I want to have a community. I don't want to use Discord. I think it's terrible. I don't want to use Slack. And I don't want to use something like Circle, which probably would be my best bet, like my best option. But I kind of don't want to use any of them. So we're just I needed an idea for a thing to build for this video, and we're going to do it to build our own version of something that's kind of a cross between Circle and Discourse, probably. It's most like Discourse, probably, but it's going to be made in this century. Okay, cool. So we have a plan.md file, and I created these just in Google Gemini. So I went into Google Gemini and I gave it this prompt and said, hey, I want to build this thing that's kind of like Slack and Discord and all this, but just better because Slack and Discord are not meant for communities, they're meant for chat. And so it went away and did this and gave me this kind of project brief, which I'll use as my plan.md file. And then it gave me a PRD, which I think is pretty detailed. Let me go down here. It's kind of a pretty detailed PRD. So it's going to do user authentication and give kind of user stories, user login, user logout, password reset, and then admin functionality. Pretty cool. And then posts and comments. So this is pretty cool. And then I copied all of this over into our project here. This is plan.md. That's all here. And tasks is here. So it has all the content about admins, users can create posts, can view lists of posts, can interact with post details, comments, all this kind of stuff. Okay, so we're not going to come over here. We're going to come over here to agents, and we're going to fire up a new agent. Okay, so we have a new agent here. You can see you can have agent, plan, or ask mode. We're going to stick with agent mode, and we're going to stay on auto in terms of the model that we're using, okay? And then I'm just gonna give it a prompt here and say to read and understand the plan.md file and the task.md file and just go make the software. And we'll see where it goes and kind of what bits I need to improve, but I think it's pretty good because it even, in our plan.md file, we even laid out like the tech stack, right? It's gonna be Next.js, it's gonna be Tailwind, it's gonna be Shad-CN, I think. So there shouldn't be too much that we need to do. So let's give it a prompt. Please read and understand both the plan.md file and the task.md file for this project, and then go build the community platform that I described there. You can come back to me and ask any clarifying questions, but I expect that most of what you need to know is already there. Let's do it. So using the Composer model, right? So really fast. It's the most common feedback I've gotten is that Composer and the new model that Cursor came up with, they're not using, Claude Sonnet or GPT-5 or anything like that under the hood. Okay, so asking for this, yep, run. So going to create a Next.js app. We're calling this Homebase using TypeScript Tailwind. And asking for cool. Okay, so cool. It's like, hey, yep, you can run this as a one-time thing or always allowed to do this, which is CD and NPM. So yep, let's just let it do that. I would imagine as you continue to let it do things, then it'll become even more autonomous. Okay, so NPM, yep, because it's a TypeScript. It's a Node app. So we're gonna wanna let it do NPM stuff a lot. As my one critique of Claude Code is I see a big difference in the kind of agent mode if it's on mobile or in the web, because it just can't ask you for permissions. It just goes and does stuff. Whereas in the browser or in the IDE like this, I'm always coming back, hey, do you need something? Yes. So I'm just going to say yes to everything. In Claude Code and in the terminal, I'm always coming back and having to check on it. Coincidentally, while this is running, I find the best time to vibe code is cooking dinner at night. Because I'll fire something up and I'll go away and I'll do stuff and I'll come back and I'll go away and do stuff and I'll come back. If it takes me 30 minutes to cook dinner, I'll have a couple minutes where I'm in between, getting something ready and it's sauteing or something's on the grill, and I can come back and just restart or clarify or answer a question or something in Claude Code. So just a tip for you, just have your computer away from all the water and the heat and everything. But, vibe coding while you're cooking dinner is a pretty cool time. I love cooking, by the way. It's kind of my getaway, but I'm able to kind of multitask a little bit and do stuff, especially if it's not super high importance and really high fidelity stuff. It's just like, hey, I want you to go kind of write these tests or build this little feature or something. I'm able to kind of multitask like that. I'm not seeing a lot of kind of what it's doing here, which I guess is the whole idea, right? So I'm seeing a little bit of code being written here, but I'm not seeing a lot of like opening files. I'm not seeing a diff between two things. I'm seeing like a little preview of stuff here that's going by in a chat kind of format, which again is kind of the essence of, I think, where software development is going to go. And Cursor 2.0 is kind of taking a big step in that direction. By the way, if you ask me like, hey, who's going to win all of this? The way I look at it, I think Cursor 2.0 is like a good step in the right direction. I think probably a lot of folks won't leave Claude Code because they have so many workflows and extensions and plugins and skills and all this. Anthropic is just such a bigger company. I think that Cursor will have a hard time competing. But my view is Anthropic and Claude Code are meant for kind of hands-on. Like you need to orchestrate what's going on here. Cursor and Cursor 2.0 are taking very much the OpenAI direction, which is like, hey, do what we've done here maybe, right? Define what you want to do, and then just let the thing go freaking work, right? And I think that if they can achieve the level of sophistication, and if you want to call it AGI, call it AGI, then they could win, because if they're the best at deploying agents to go do stuff, that's where all of this is going. No person is going to sit at a computer and do stuff in 2 years or 5 years. And so whoever wins the path to truly autonomous agentic work is going to win. And so, if this applies to everybody here, right? Like, what should we be doing? We should be figuring out how to use agents as best as possible. And so I commend Cursor for getting on this kind of bandwagon and getting away from the kind of hands-on stuff. Currently, I think Claude Code is the best for hands-on software development. But if I wanted to do something like this, like, hey, this is a pretty clear thing, right? Building a community platform is a pretty clear thing. Just go do it. Then using agents and letting them be autonomous probably is the way to go. When this is all done, when it's done building this and we come back and we have to go do stuff and, debug and all that kind of stuff, like how is it going to, kind of compare to the depth of clarity that we get from Claude Code? We'll see, right? That's why we stick around to the end of the video to see like, hey, what's the output that this gives us? And then when we need to do stuff from there, what does that look like? But like you sure enough can create multiple agents here, and you can have this kind of multi-agent parallel kind of process going. And so that, I think I've learned the hard way in my projects with Claude Code. Don't spin up multiple agents working on the same thing all at once, which since we're starting from scratch, everything is all at once. So there's no kind of separation of like front end or back end or admin panel and all this kind of stuff. So we just want to let this go do its thing, and we'll see what the outcome is after it's done. Okay, looks like it's complete. So community platform complete, core functionality, user authentication, user profiles, community structure, call them spaces. That's cool. Posts and comments. Yep. admin and moderation, project structure, Next.js, TypeScript, Prisma with Postgres, Next.js, AW, CSS, API routes. Set up my env file, npm run, db generate, push, create your first user admin, npm run dev. Cool. Okay, and it gives me all of the files that it created. That's cool. So let's click review here and see all of this. Okay, cool. Okay, so it's saying here we can keep all of these changes. Yep, that's cool. So I'll say keep. I'm going to close, maximize chat size. That's what I want. Okay, cool. So we'll keep all of these. So that's kind of like committing or, committing the pending changes. Okay, so great. So last thing we need to do here is create the database. So set up my .env file. So I do need to go to the editor at this point because I don't know, I don't see the .env file. So that's cool. So we have a .env file created here. Okay, so it's got the database URL already. I don't know. I don't know how to do either of these things. So let's so we have the chat over here on the side. So that in terms of you can be chat primary or chat only, agent kind of chat only here, or if you go back to the editor mode, which is like the classic mode that we would expect with the right sidebar, we can chat with the agent. So I'm just going to say here, I don't understand what you want me to do with all of this stuff. So I'll just say, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not sure how to complete step 1 in the next steps to run section here with the database URL, next auth URL, and next auth secret. Can you just do this for me, please? And so this is where we get into okay, it built the thing. Now can it interact with us and help us do stuff? I think Claude Code is exceptionally good at this. Maybe to the fault of hallucinating, that's the thing is if it doesn't know, it's just going to do something because it wants to make you happy. Okay, great. So, yep, I think that's probably creating some kind of thing for my password or something here. That's cool. Creating a .env file with generated secret and database configuration. Yeah, cool. That's what I want you to do. Yep. Do all the stuff, please. Of course, this will be different. This is just on my local machine. Email, right? So that's optional. Okay, so created this. Great. So now we need it to do this. And we'll just see, I could open the terminal and do this, but I just want to see if it can do this. So it's going to generate the database and yep. So we'll just say run one time, creating the database and creating the merge, right? Or migration to create the database tables and stuff like that. And then we'll run the project and we'll see what it looks like. Bro. Okay, cool. So generate the database now. That's cool. Close these guys. And yeah, I don't know what the difference between is generate and push with the database. If you're a developer and you know a lot of Postgres stuff, let me know. Postgres, the database type. And if we want, we'll use Supabase for this as the database provider for a vibe codey kind of thing. Yeah, why isn't Postgres working? That's good. It's helping us troubleshoot this. That was kind of one of the questions I had is how helpful can it be in helping us debug stuff? That's one of the best things about Claude Code is if Claude Code itself isn't working or some kind of local environment crap isn't working, I'm just going to say just go do it. It's one of the most helpful things for me with Claude Code is it just figures all this stuff out. And this is super, it's wanting to do stuff with, oh my goodness, just freaking do it already. It's wanting to, one of the most frustrating things with new developers or new people into software development is setting up the local environment, getting the thing to run. Okay, great. So npm run dev. Yep. Awesome. Now run npm run dev. I'm usually bad at stopping the development server, so that port 3000 could be taken already. And we'll, okay. Okay, great. Now let's see. Oh, bro. All right, so we got an error. Let's debug this error. Make yourself an admin. Okay, but before we got there, okay, I'm gonna switch back to agent view here. Before we even got there, we ran into an issue. Okay, so the server's running. We should go here to access, but we ran into an issue. So let's tell it the issue that we ran into. Okay, so I just copied the bug message and just said we ran into an error in this URL. Can you help me? Tailwind CSS4, how post CSS, blah, 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 blah. Cool, bro. Like, just fix it, please. NPM running automatically because we gave it permission to just run that anytime it wants, which is cool. Okay, it thinks it fixed it and should be restarting the server. Not. Okay, another. Okay, so that's fine. I don't know what it did here. So another bug. And by the way, I'm just clicking the copy button here. So Next.js apps are really good at giving you exactly what's going on. And I always just copy this, and this pops up when you click here. So if you haven't done this before, that's kind of situation. Next.js and JavaScript apps in general are great because they live reload the page because kind of everything is in the browser. If you're a developer, you're probably cringing right now. Not everything is in the browser. A lot of the functionality is in the browser. And so it's quite helpful in that way. So, again, back to while it's debugging this, back to the problem, I think, with a lot of AI-driven development or just development in general is getting the thing to work the first time. And so not surprisingly that we're running into these issues. I have in every application I've created, there's always some kind of issue. Okay, so it thinks it's done, but now we have another issue. So we'll just copy this, and this is kind of getting old. So I think we're getting closer. I can see something. I can see something back here, but I can't access the page yet. So I think we're getting closer. Next auth files use a different API, updating the code to use this. So again, with this, one thing that I might do so several of these have been that is referencing outdated code. One thing that I would use is something like context 7 or ref in Claude Code as MCP servers. I don't know if Cursor 2.0 can have the functionality of MCP servers, but I would want to, so that it's always pulling the latest information when I go to do something, all the latest documentation, so it's not loading all these outdated libraries and calling old APIs and stuff like that. Cool. Okay, so we have an app. Okay, cool. So it's doing all this kind of stuff. I forgot what it said about I need to do a thing to create. Oh my gracious, I'm not going to try to go to the top. It's going to do a bunch of stuff, and I need to get that command again, that Postgres kind of command line command to create a user. But no, we'll just go and create an account. Okay, so creating an account here while this is still running, which is probably not a great idea to be using the application while it's still running. Okay, great, but I have the product works. So no post yet, be the first to create one. I have a profile here. I still have issues. Oh, great. Okay, so cool. Okay, awesome. So I don't see a way to create a post, which is a bit of a problem. So let's see when this is done, and then we'll give it that feedback. Say hey, but I can't create a post yet. Okay, great. So all of our errors are gone, right? So our little Next.js app thing down here says that everything is working right and there's no errors, which is cool. I'm going to refresh the page. Cool, no errors. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to accept all those changes. That's cool. And now I just want to say, this is great, but I don't see a button to create a new space or a new post. Can you please review that and add those functionalities if they should be there? Cool. So maybe, it said way before, hey, you need to be an admin, blah, 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 but maybe I don't need to be. But either way, I think I should have the ability to create a post. So pretty basic, I guess that would be my one critique of this is pretty basic. If I look at Linkberry, the other kind of SaaS tool we've been building, out of the box, it's pretty good. It has pretty cool design. This doesn't have amazing design right away. It's a community platform. Maybe that's not the most important thing. I don't know. So, it's going through and it's doing its thing. Okay, add a new post button to the homepage that links to a new space. Ensure the admins create space button is prominent. Okay, so maybe I'm not an admin user, and so maybe that's why I can't add new spaces. That makes sense. So, okay, cool. Overall, my impressions, I like this a lot. It's fast, right? The composer model, super fast. There are a few things about Claude Code that I like better. Mostly the flexibility and that kind of hands-on aspect of it. But how would I use the two? I would probably use Cursor 2.0, much like I would use Claude on mobile or in the web. And it doesn't exist, right? Cursor doesn't have a mobile app. And so that's a bummer. But it is very agentic forward, which I really, really like. And so if I'm going to cook dinner and I have a big old feature I want to do, I might talk to it, have it create a spec or a GitHub issue or something, and then fire that off. If I want to be more hands-on and see exactly what's going on, I probably would use Claude Code in Cursor as an IDE and be a little more hands-on with things. I also would use Claude Code for like plan mode. Okay, cool. So no spaces yet. That's cool. So it gives us context here. Okay, so Cursor 2.0, it's a win. It's a tool I would use in my arsenal. I wouldn't switch over to it entirely, but there are times and places I would absolutely use it, and I will be going forward. I'm Craig Hewitt. This is 100 Days of AI. If you're enjoying this, please like, subscribe, smash the bell, leave a comment of what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of, and I'll see you tomorrow.